Philly has hundreds of different neighborhoods. And if you're new here, it can feel tough to figure out where you actually want to end up. And the truth is, picking the right neighborhood definitely has a lot to do with price, but it also has to do with your general lifestyle, where you're working, what you want your life to look like in the city, and a long-term fit. So today, I'm going to break down how to find the Philly neighborhood that's right for you, whether you're buying, renting, or just trying to get your bearings here. My name is Marco Gabriele. I'm a real estate agent here in Philadelphia, and I've helped hundreds of people move in the city and find the neighborhood that is right for their lifestyle. So from first-time home buyers to people who are relocating from different cities, I have seen what makes people fall in love with certain areas and also what makes people want to move 6 months after they've moved into a certain area. So this isn't a ranking list. It's just more of a general framework and guidance to how to make a decision when you're looking in Philly and pretty much evaluating the neighborhoods that you want to be in. So the first tip that I'm going to give you when thinking about where to move in Philadelphia really has nothing to do with the city itself. It just has a lot more to do with you. So start with yourself and what your lifestyle looks like. Not necessarily your budget, we're going to get to that, but starting with your lifestyle. What does your week look like, right? Commute, workouts, how do you get around? What do you do in your spare time? Philly has so many different neighborhoods that really give you an opportunity to live in areas that are more tailored towards your lifestyle. So if you like to be in a neighborhood where you can really walk around, you might look at East Passyunk, you might look at Northern Liberties, you might look at Fishtown, right? But if you're more of a person who is okay driving to the destination and wants something a little bit quieter and more residential, that might lead you to other areas of the city. So I think the first thing that you want to understand is what's important to you. Is it the nightlife? Is it the social scene? Is it being closer to green spaces like being close to Fairmount Park or Wissahickon, right? If you're looking at that and you want to be more in those areas, you might want to look in the Germantown area or Chestnut Hill or Fairmount if that is what's important to you. So what I'm getting at is understanding yourself and what you want your general lifestyle to look like. Philly has a lot of different opportunities. If you want a more residential suburban feel, right? You can go up to the Northeast. You can look in deep South Philly in some areas like Packer Park. So there's a lot of different opportunities, but the first thing you want to really evaluate is that criteria for yourself and the type of vibe that you're trying to really have in your everyday life. So as you start to get more clear on the things that are important to you, like whether it's green space, social scene, walkability to work, how you're commuting around the city, do you want to be close to SEPTA or not, things along those lines. Now I would start to take a look at how far your actual dollar is going to go in different areas. Every area of the city, there is different opportunities for the most part to get in at different price points. It really just depends on what you want the actual living situation to look like. So we're now going from the neighborhood and looking at the extraneous circumstances of what you want the area to look like to now how far is your money going and what do you want the actual living situation within the walls of your home to look like, right? Are you okay with a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom? Do you need garage parking or are you okay with street parking? These are all things that are going to play into identifying the actual criteria and then figuring out how far your money is going to go in certain areas. For example, if you had a budget between $300,000 and $400,000 and you're looking in Northern Liberties, we know that that's maybe not going to get you a brand new construction townhome. However, it may get you a really nice 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo in that neighborhood, right? Now, if we take that same budget of $300,000 to $400,000 and we go to like West Passyunk or Point Breeze in South Philly, now that might actually end up buying you a brand new renovated 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome. So it's really just now weighing the different areas that you want to be in and what you want to be in vicinity to versus how far your dollar is going to go for what you can get. So it seems like a complex equation, but it's really not as you start to understand the different markets in these areas. And I think the best way that you can do that is really by going to open houses. So this is going to lead me into my third point about how I would go about identifying an area that is right for me in Philadelphia. So what I would really do is once I've generally identified the vibe of the neighborhood I'm looking for, once I've generally identified a budget and what I expect my living situation to look like, I would go on Zillow or I would go on any real estate website that has an IDX, and I would basically just start looking for homes that have open houses in those price points, and I would go to the different areas that I was looking to potentially live in, and I would tour the inventory. I would go and also tour those neighborhoods and see what restaurants are nearby, what parks are nearby, what can you walk to, are there grocery stores, are there coffee shops, and just get a general feeling for the neighborhood. Because Philadelphia, and I've said this in different videos, it is a very block by block city. So you might be looking at one specific area and you might see that it has a lot of homes that seem like they're a good fit for you. And when you go to that area, it might just not mesh with what you're expecting or what you're looking for. So going to the area and touring the inventory and going through the open houses is a very important step in the process. And I think any buyer who is looking in Philadelphia should do that first before they really narrow down on the area that they want to be in. And from that point, it's really good to start engaging an agent who you trust, who you know is going to be able to guide you in the right direction and really advise you on the home search, because as you're getting more focused on certain areas, you are going to want to go to see properties that may not just have open houses every weekend, right? They may be properties that just got listed and there might be competition for them, and you want to get into those properties quickly. So once you start to get a little bit more clear on what you're looking for, the general areas you're looking in, and then, confirming that you can get something relatively similar to what you're looking for in those areas, at that point, I would pull in a real estate agent you trust, like myself, who can help you to actually go through that process and see all the other homes that might be on the market or might be coming onto the market soon so that you could find the right fit. And so one additional tip that I want to give you that I think helps put things into perspective as far as price point is also understanding what you're foregoing in certain situations in order to get into a neighborhood in a certain price point. And what I mean by that is really looking at the whole package, right? For example, let's say you work in, New Jersey, and you want to live in Center City because you think it's walkable and it's near all the downtown spots and the restaurants. But now you're also going to have to pay $300 to $400 a month for a parking garage to park your car to get to your job, right? You may be better off looking in a different neighborhood like Fishtown, where you might not have to buy a garage parking spot. And now you can balance that and up your budget in Fishtown versus what you would have to spend in Center City. So I think there's a bigger equation to all these things. Another one, if you're looking at a condo building that has a gym, right? That's something that you can now save on versus if you're buying a townhome, you may have to go and get that gym membership. So I think this kind of ties back into the first thing that I was talking about, which is like really understanding the important things in your lifestyle and what you're going to want in your daily and weekly life, because all those things do factor in. And I have seen people buy in certain areas or buy a certain type of home that just doesn't fit their long-term plan. And then after a year or two, they end up moving. And especially if you're buying, like if you're renting, that's fine. If you're moving, every year, every couple years. But if you're buying, that can become a burden because you invested money in that home or in that condo. And now you either have to turn around and sell it very quickly, or you have to go and rent it out and find a new place to live. So you just want to be very clear up front on all the extra costs that are not only in the rent payment or in the mortgage payment that you're paying, but also to allow you to live the lifestyle that you want to live in that particular area, if that makes sense. So that's my final tip on really centering yourself and understanding where do I want to be in Philadelphia and what do I want to think about when I'm going into it. So I'll just end by saying, finding the right neighborhood in Philadelphia or any city isn't, necessarily about the area itself. It's really about knowing yourself and what you want to get out of the city. I think Philly specifically, one of the reasons I love this city is because it has so many different neighborhoods that have so many different things to offer. So I really do feel no matter what your budget is and no matter what you're really looking to get out of the city, it is possible for you to find it. You just really need to be clear on what you're looking for and where to look. So if you are moving to Philadelphia and you want help narrowing down your search on where, would work for your lifestyle to live in the city, definitely feel free to drop me a message, drop me a comment below, and definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button for more neighborhood tours, market updates, and just information about Philadelphia. I'll see you next time.